Hey there, Careblazers! Welcome back to the place where we talk about everything dementia. Dr. Natalie here, and in today's video, I'm going to talk about how to prevent violent behaviors in your loved one with dementia, or how to reduce violent behaviors in your loved one with dementia if they're happening already. Before we get started, I want to welcome any new Careblazers who are watching this. If you would like to join the Careblazer family, all you have to do is hit that red subscribe button on your screen. It is completely free. Also, be sure that you download the Careblazers Survival Guide, now in its second edition. Below in the description, there's a link. You can click on it. That is also completely free, and it's filled with tips and situations and strategies to help improve your situation and improve your relationship with your loved one with dementia. All right, now let's get started. Aggressiveness or violence in dementia can be so challenging and stressful. A lot of times it can lead to your loved one going to a nursing home, but a lot of times nursing homes may not even accept your loved one if they have this history of violence. So you can feel at a loss for what you're supposed to do, trying to provide all the care for your loved one at home, all the while at risk for being hit and kicked and screamed at. Unfortunately, aggressiveness or some violence is a common symptom that happens with dementia, but fortunately there's a lot of really good research and information out there to talk about how to reduce that violence or how to prevent that violence altogether. And stick with me here, it has to do with us, the Careblazers. It has to do with changing the approach. You have to change the approach, and you have to kind of be a detective to try to figure out what's going on, what's causing the behaviors, and in some cases, if you're very lucky, just being aware of these things can help you prevent those violent behaviors altogether. So if medications are not the answer, what the heck can you guys do to help prevent your loved one from getting aggressive, or to help reduce how often your loved one's getting aggressive? Now, research shows that in the healthcare industry, let's say at an assisted living facility or a nursing home, certain healthcare workers tend to get assaulted the most, more often than other healthcare workers. And when researchers looked into why is this, why are some healthcare workers really getting assaulted a lot more than other healthcare workers, it has to do with the healthcare workers' approach. So your approach. The more rushed you are, the more stressed you are, the more likely your loved one's going to have some aggressive behaviors. Because number one, they are picking up on your stress. People with dementia pay such close attention to nonverbals. You are essentially a mirror for your loved one. I know I've said this before in a lot of other videos, but I really want to drive this point home. How you look, how you feel comes across to your loved one with dementia. And when their brain doesn't pick up or understand everything that you're saying, their brain doesn't understand everything that's going on around them, they're looking at your face to figure out how they should feel and how they should behave. And if your face is looking tense and stressed and angry or upset, guess what? They're going to get upset, stressed, angry, and upset. This is what I really want you to do. And I want you to really give this a true, full, honest effort. I want you to get a notebook, and I want you to start writing down details about your loved one's aggressiveness. I want you to ask yourself, what is your loved one doing? What time are these behaviors occurring? Who is around when those behaviors are occurring? Play detective. I also want you to think of a lot of common reasons that could lead to somebody with dementia feeling violent or aggressive. So a lot of common things that lead to discomfort and dementia and then lead to aggressiveness are things like hunger, thirst, pain. Maybe your loved one is too hot. Maybe your loved one is too cold. Is your loved one bored? Are they overwhelmed? Are they overstimulated with too much going on in their environment? Are they understimulated? Perhaps they're lonely. Or maybe they need to use the restroom or have a depends or adult brief change. Really think through all these possibilities and jot down and start playing detective on which ones you think could be occurring, and maybe even some other ones I didn't even mention. Write these down in your journal. Think about this for a minute. When you're cold, you can go get a sweater or you can turn up the heat in your home. When you're hungry, you can get up and go make yourself a snack. When you need to use the restroom, you can get up and go use the restroom. For your loved one with dementia, it's not always that easy. Not only may they not be able to do these things for themselves, they might not even be able to verbalize that they need those things or that they're uncomfortable to you. They might not be able to express what they're wanting or how they're feeling to you. So I know, for a personal example, if I get really, really hungry, I am cranky. I am hangry. Hungry plus angry together, hangry. So, but I know that I just need to get to food as fast as possible. And once I get food, I'm okay. For your loved one with dementia, many times they're really depending on you for these basic things. And when you're talking to them or trying to get them to do something, or even trying to do care tasks with them, like changing them or bathing them, if any of these uncomfortable things are happening, your risk of getting hit or kicked or yelled at just goes through the roof, because that's their way of communicating with you. Something's not right, something's off. So keep a journal or notebook to document all these behaviors. And I want you to write down what you've attempted. I want you to write down what you ruled out. I also want you to write down how your loved one responded. Let me give a situation to drive this point home. So your father with dementia lives with you, and his wife, your mother, passed away 6 months ago. It's the middle of the night, the whole house is sleeping, and he starts yelling, wakes up from his sleep, and he starts yelling for his wife. He starts yelling really, really loud. You jump out of bed, you run over to his room, you flip on the lights, you ask him if he's okay, you tell him to be quiet, you kind of shush him, tell him the whole house is sleeping, and you're trying to get him to calm down. When you go up to kind of touch him, he takes a swing at you. Neither one of you are able to calm down. Neither one of you get any sleep. The whole house is up because he keeps yelling. What went wrong in this situation? So, for starters, you rushed into the room. You flipped on the lights in the middle of the night. You were really worried about your father because he's yelling in the middle of the night, and you're really worried about the rest of the house waking up, so you're trying to shush him and get him to be quiet. So you're working from a stance of feeling really stressed and rushed and like really focused on getting him to do something you want. Then you approach him and he takes a swing at you, but you're approaching him from this state of being really tense and anxious and kind of stressed out, right? So from the person with dementia who wakes up and can't remember that their wife is gone and has been, dead for the past 6 months, they're a little bit disoriented. You're coming at them with basically a facial expression that tells them they should be worried. You should have something to be concerned about. You should be in a little bit of distress right now. You're kind of promoting that behavior, and when you approached him, they swung. So from your point of view, you're thinking, I can't believe he swung at me. This is ridiculous. Maybe you're starting to think about placing them because you can't have somebody violent in your home. Now let me switch the situation up just a little bit. Let's try this example again. It's the middle of the night. Your dad with dementia wakes up yelling for his wife who's passed away. You calmly walk into the room, and rather than flipping on the large overhead light, maybe you flip on the lamp by his nightstand or a small low light somewhere else in the room. You immediately call him Dad so that the relationship and he knows exactly who you are, and you start to calmly tell him it's going to be all right. It's going to be okay. I'm here for you, and you're safe. Your facial expressions, no matter how stressed out you are inside, are very calm when you're talking to him. You also let him know that you're going to be there for him. Maybe you even put on some nice music. Maybe you always have one of his favorite songs at the ready to play to help calm him and bring him back to a place that is more pleasant for him. Maybe you turn on the TV a little bit and put on one of his favorite shows. Then you slowly approach him and tell him it's going to be okay, and you reach out and gently touch his hand. And you sit with him for a while until he calms down and everybody's able to go back asleep, and you both get rest and the whole house gets rest. In this situation, you are much more calm. Your approach was different. You called him Dad, so he knew exactly who you were, and there was no swing, there was no attack, there was no attempt to hurt. Now, I know the situation I'm giving you is like very basic, but it really goes to show, and it's been proven over and over again, that how we approach somebody with dementia really determines how they're going to act. Now, this is the type of stuff that's proven over and over and over again in the research, but it's also the type of stuff that it's really hard for caregivers to wrap their heads around. They just say, or they sometimes think, no matter what I do, I have tried everything and my loved one will just continue to stay aggressive or continue to be violent. They just will not change. I am really asking you to challenge that belief, to challenge that story in your head, and take a full attempt at documenting what's going on, taking a good look at what's happening, when it's happening, what are possible reasons it's happening, who's around when it's happening, how you are when it's happening, and really start to document and start trial and error different approaches to help reduce those behaviors. So in order to prevent these behaviors from happening in the first place, of course, you're always going to be mindful of your nonverbal behaviors. I also want you to start paying attention to when your loved one is calm, when your loved one is happy, when your loved one seems to be at most peace. Take note of what's going on in those situations, just as you would in the difficult situations. So what is your loved one doing when they seem the most happy? Who's around? What time of day is it? How are you feeling when your loved one's the most happy? So we can try to replicate some of the details of those times so that we can make those times happen more than the difficult times. Careblazers, I hope this video has been helpful to you. I know this is all easier said than done, but I promise it can be done. Just really want you to have faith and believe and really give this an attempt and a true try. If you are sitting here feeling like this is ridiculous and none of this is going to work, you're right. None of it is going to work because you're not really going to give it a full attempt. So if you want any chance of reducing your loved one's violent behaviors or preventing them from happening in the first place, give this exercise a try. Okay, leave me any questions you have below this video, and I will be back next week. Bye, Careblazers. Months. Oh. I'm down. Oh no, crap, you in that. Think about this for a minute. When